So we're going to move onwards, still with our connection to the core, but taking it into a few different movements and especially into the quads. Quadriceps being the thigh muscles that make up your thighs. So very often get very tight with other forms of exercise, with sitting, and sometimes can be the cause of lower back issues. So I'm going to get you to ease to the floor semi-supine. If you've got your brick, take it with you, have it handy. You're going to be using it and I will join you over there. So just pop in yourself to that sense of connecting to the earth. And as you release down to the floor, just begin with your arms with the palms facing upwards and just start to bring a little bit of rotation into the shoulders by rolling the arms to turn the palms down, facing the floor, and then maybe move it a little bit further so the thumbs reach to the floor, or as close as you can get them. And then inhaling, turn the palms upward, rotate fully, and then turn the palms out so that maybe the thumbs can pop to the floor with that movement. So just turning the arms in the shoulder joints, easing the thumbs to the floor, but also feeling that you're moving into this sense of starting to ease into a bit of a pelvic tilt, driven by the movement of the arms. Take a couple more. And then the next time you exhale, you'll probably find your palms facing down. I want you to stay with the spine lengthening, but just turn the arms, the lower part of the arms from the elbow joint, so that the palms and the lower arms and the inner elbows are facing upward, but you've got a little bit of release in the shoulders. And then keep exhaling, inviting the weight in through the feet. And as you inhale, just keep the feet on the floor, but maybe just release some of the weight from the feet. So keep going like that, exhaling, drawing the weight through the feet, and inhaling, releasing. So again, perhaps you're feeling that emergence of a pelvic tilt, but this time probably feeling it a little bit lower down in the back. I'm getting you to take this movement a few times just to feel that you can get some warming up in the tissues that support the lower back. And then the next time you exhale, I want you to release, lengthen the spine to the floor, and then imagine just moving into a bridge so that you can take your brick and sneak it underneath the sacrum. And I've got my brick at its lowest level for this. So I'm just sliding the brick underneath the sacrum, still keeping the same semi-supine type position that I was in previously. And then just allowing that brick to be a support for my back. Now, in this movement, we can start to access different parts of the tissues and muscles. So what I'm going to ask from you is the next time you exhale to bring your right knee into the chest. And you might find, even as you do that, that you're getting this little bit of length at the back of the waist. And then from there, as you inhale, I want you to keep your right foot flexed, slide the right foot along the floor until you more or less move into extension. But remember, you still want to keep a bit of activity in through the heel. And then from there, inhale and start to move that right leg into extension towards the ceiling before adding in a little bit of exhale and a hamstring movement, bringing the leg maybe beyond the 90 degrees. And then keep exhaling, bend the knee into the chest. So we'll keep going with that, breathing in, flex the right foot, extend the leg along the floor, trying to keep the heel in line with the sit bone. And then from that position, keep inhaling so the leg goes up, reaches towards the ceiling, and maybe on the exhale you can invite a little bit of movement, a little bit of tipping off the brick, bending the knee into the chest, and then we'll do it one more time. So I'll extend that right heel along the floor, pick up the right leg. Now this time I'm going to get you just to clasp your hands around the back of that right thigh and just maybe ease it in just a little bit more, knowing you've got this kind of tilt on the pelvis. So it's going to give you a lot more access, perhaps to the hamstring, perhaps to the lower back. From there, bend the knee, the right knee into the chest, and then just place the right foot to the floor. Allow yourself to connect into the earth with that right foot. And just for a few moments, comparing the difference between the two. Next time, as you exhale, slide the left knee into the chest. Again, just be aware of keeping a little bit of connection with the right foot. Breathing in, flex the foot, extend the left heel along the floor, lengthening that left leg out, and then keep extending, keep reaching through the heel as you reach the left heel into a hamstring stretch, maybe 90 degrees, maybe slightly less. And then as you begin your exhale, maybe invite that left leg a little bit closer to the body, keeping it extended initially, and then bending the knee, sliding the knee to the chest, feeling that space at the waist, and then extending it again. So we're doing 3. So let's take us into number 2. That's it. Try and keep that heel active. You know, anything you do with the back of the leg will reflect in the heel. And you'll find that anything that works onto the front of the thigh, into the quad, tends to be a slightly neutral foot or a pointed toe. Now on the third one, keep that left heel reaching up to the ceiling, and then just loosely clasp around the back of the left thigh, really bringing some weight into the right foot, and just invite a little bit more extension into that hamstring. I mean, you don't have to keep it around the thigh if you've got one arms. You could always reach around the shin, just exploring how that feels, just for a few moments. And sometimes if you press into that right foot a little bit, you can get a little bit more movement into the left hamstring. And then eventually exhaling again, bend the knee to the chest, and just ease that left foot to the floor so that you're back into that semi-supine position. And again, just pause for a few seconds just to let that settle in through the sacrum. And then from this position, and we're going to come off the brick, but always as we remove the brick to the floor, I want you to try and think of lengthening the back rather than just dropping the back to the floor. So as you slide the brick out, take a little bit of time to feel that you can reach the vertebrae, each one reaching out, lengthening along the floor, that almost like you're trying to take the coccyx towards the heels. Gradually easing down and just feeling that real extension through the back of the body. Now we're going to take this into a twist, so it's osteopath twist tonight. but just pop your brick over to your left side. So exhale, slide the right knee into the chest once again, and then flex the left foot and send that left leg out towards the bottom of your mat, heel in line with the sit bone. Now again, don't over straighten it. Keep a little bit of a bend in the knee. You'll have a lot more mobility with it. Pop your right foot onto the left thigh or shin, not the knee. Slide the right arm out in line with the shoulder. And as you exhale, turn and twist. And this is where you've got a bit more movement with that left leg. You can dig the left heel in and use that momentum to turn or tuck your left hip under a little bit more. Now, not too much, because you still want to keep your right shoulder on the floor and your right arm on the floor. Lovely, palm facing upward. Now again, always being mindful quite early on in the class, so if you have got any, back problems today, you might want to not do the next move. Just be mindful. All we're going to do is, as you inhale, you're going to extend that right heel over to the left, as if you're kicking out with the heel. And as you exhale, bend the knee. So it's a little bit similar to what we were just doing, but in a different position. So it might feel a little bit more challenging because you're bringing in that outer hip area. Now again, purely if you want to, you can take that right leg to the left and maybe just slide your brick somewhere underneath the foot just to support it in that long-legged kick extension. If you're close to a wall, walls are also good, that you can press the foot into the wall. But it's just to give it something to rest on rather than having the foot pressing down to the floor. If that's not right, again, please slide the right foot back onto the left thigh. Couple of breaths there. Well done. And then from there, sliding, bending the right knee, bringing the right foot back onto the left thigh, and then just slowly easing back onto your back. And just as a counter pose, bringing that right knee into the chest. So you're in Apanasana position. And just take that opportunity to have a little circle into your right ankle. Circling in one direction and then circling in the other. Good. Okay, from here, let's take both knees to the chest now. So you're in full Apanasana. And then from here, we're just going to change sides for our osteopath movements. So I'm going to keep my left knee at the chest. I'm going to move my brick somewhere over to the right. And I'm going to extend my right leg out towards the base of my mat, but maybe not extend it fully. Left arm moving out in line with the left armpit, and as you exhale, osteopath twist, tucking that right hip under if you've got any available space there. Taking a few breaths, and then again, depending on how you feel, maybe you could start to kick the left leg out to the right, and then exhale, bring the left foot back onto the thigh. So it's just like you're kicking, you're doing the same sort of hamstring opening, but there's that little bit of kick in there. That's it. And then that option of taking that left leg out to the side and maybe finding a space to rest the left foot onto the brick. Just noticing if it feels any different on this side to the other side. Good. Okay. So from here, pop the left foot onto the right thigh, slide back to the centre, come back onto your back, make sure that you are fully onto your spine, and bring the left knee to the chest again, Apanasana. And then bring both knees in. Now we're going to take one more osteopath, but this time it's going to come into a quad stretch. So I'm going to go back to have my right knee to the chest, extend the left leg out. You know where we're going to go. So we're extending the right arm to the side. We're twisting to the left. So you're back in that osteopath twist again. But this time, you may find that it's handy having that brick. So keep the brick on your right side. Slide your right arm maybe into a drizzly V shape on the right side and slowly start to bend your left knee so that you're moving your left foot towards your bottom. And it tends to help with the right arm lifted because it extends the space in the right side ribs. And then after that, drizzle the right arm back to pick up the left foot potentially, or if not, to at least touch the left foot with the brick. So cat's tail position. That's it. Fantastic. Now, wherever you are, whether you're holding onto the foot or not, I'm going to get you to let go of the foot anyway. I want you to roll onto your back, but keep the shape so that we can make it into eye of the needle. So just change the outer right ankle to come in front of the left thigh and bring that into eye of the needle. And then from eye of the needle, next time you exhale, see if you can connect to those core muscles, zippers and drawstrings, and ease the legs in towards the chest. And here you've got the option of threading the hands through the gap in the right side so you can hold on to the back of the left thigh. Now again, if that's too much, remember you could always put that left foot to the floor because that's going to give you that reconnection to the core once more. Lovely. Okay, let's release out of that, pop into semi-supine this time. And then you know where you're going. You're going to go left side, knee comes to the chest, exhale, right leg extends, maybe not fully. Take the left arm out to the side, and then exhale again to take the twist, tuck in that right hip under. So sometimes second time feels a little bit more accessible. Maybe slide your brick over to the left if you felt that you need it. Bring your left arm into that lovely V shape or T shape just to create this space in the side of the body. That's it. And then start to move the right heel just gradually towards the bottom. What you don't want to do is move too fast that you put these sometimes tight muscles into cramp. So maybe just do a little shuffle on the foot. And then when you feel you're almost there, slide the left hand towards the right foot or use the brick just to touch the foot. If you can't quite get to it, that's it, lovely. These look nice. Some of you might even be able to go for the ankle or even the shin. And then as we come out of this movement, we're going to let go of the left foot, ankle or shin. We're going to slide onto our backs again, but keep the left leg crossing over the front of the right thigh. So you're into eye of the needle, and then just complete this movement by engaging into the core and allowing the legs to be drawn to the chest. Lovely. So in this position, Once again, I'm going to ease back into semi-supine, just reconnect to the floor. Now, just because I want you to do a bit of a mermaid position, I'm going to get you to roll the feet towards each other into Supta Baddha Konasana. So that's the soles and the heels of the feet touching, knees wide. And then from that position, draw yourself onto your elbows, then onto the hands, and then actually ease yourself into Baddha Konasana. So this position where the feet are touching, the knees are moving out to the side. We're not staying in it. All I'm going to get you to do from here, if possible, is to take your left leg and turn that back so that you're onto the top of the left shin, sorry, the top of the left ankle and the top of the left foot, and you can bring your right foot in towards your knee. Now, sometimes when we do this, I say to you, you can put your brick, in this instance, underneath your right thigh, outer right thigh, so that you can try and level the hips a little bit, so you can balance out the buttocks. So with or without the brick, your choice. From here, we're going to do a bit of a side stretch. So I'm going to pop my right hand down. I'm going to bring my left arm alongside of my ear. And I'm just going to take that lovely glance into my inner left arm. And it will take the weight out of my left buttock into my right buttock. And then I'm going to breathe in, change sides, bring the weight into my left buttock, take the weight maybe out of my left, maybe not. Sorry, maybe out of my right, maybe not. And then as I come out of this side stretch to the left, I'm going to lift my arms back up. And as I exhale, I'm going to turn and twist to the right, bringing my left hand outside of my right leg. And then there's that lovely snooty movement of the head and neck as it turns over and gazes down towards the left knee. Snooty mermaid. Okay, breathing in. Turn the head, neck and shoulders back to the right, and then release the brick, turn the body back to the center. And from here, just ease back, perhaps through Baddha Konasana, so bring the feet back together. Maybe hold onto the feet or onto the ankles, pressing the knees out to the side. And then change sides, so keep the left leg in front, bring the right leg behind. That's it. Okay. And again, you've got that option. If you want to put the brick underneath your left knee, that's absolutely fine. And then we'll side stretch. So let's take side stretch over to the left this time, transferring weight quite strongly perhaps into the left buttock. Breathing in back to the center. And as you breathe out, side stretch to the right, just noticing how the weight transfers. Maybe it won't come out of your left buttock. Mine's not releasing that much. And then breathing in, bring the arms wide. And as you exhale, then come into mermaid, turn and twist to the left, take the right hand outside of the left leg, and then that snooty rotation, head, neck, turning to gaze at the right knee. So try and drop the shoulders, soften the shoulders. Couple of breaths. So always we release the head and neck first. So take the head and neck back to the left and then turn the body all the way back through the center. And from here, you're in a really nice position to slide onto all fours. So you can just pop the hands down and just shuffle the legs underneath so that the knees are underneath the hips. From here, you're going to breathe in. You're going to take that top chest forward And as you exhale, lift the front body up into the back body to take your angry cat. Let the head and neck relax. And keep breathing out to slide the bottom to the heels and drop the forehead to the floor. As you breathe in, imagine you're rolling a marble along the floor. Let the elbows move out to the side a little bit. And then slide the elbows in as you lift up into your upward facing cat again. Maybe slightly forward though. Take it through angry cat. All the way back, bottom to heels. Drop the forehead. And then getting that chest as close to the floor as you can. Lengthening out along the floor and then drawing the elbows in. Releasing into upward facing. Now, once you're in upward facing, all I want you to do is reconnect to your lower belly masculine. So I want you to, from this position, zip up your tight jeans and pull your drawstrings in. So now you're into a flat cat. And from flat cat, we're going to do a little twist to the left. So I want you to spin on your right knee and start to roll into your left foot. Okay, now I'm going to mirror you, so I'm going to do it the other way, but you're going to spin on your right knee and roll into your left foot. So your right foot slides out behind your right knee and your left foot comes to the floor. Now I'm also going to take my brick here for a little bit of support, somewhere outside of my right knee, so that I can pop my hand on the brick and have a lovely space at the right side of the ribs, and I can bring my left arm up alongside of the ear. That's it. Then from there, I'm going to take a big circle with this left arm. So it's going to come alongside of my face. It's going to extend in front, just breathing normally, and then draw to the sky again. I'm going to do 3 in whatever direction you're currently going. Really doesn't matter which one you're doing first. And then I'm going to take 3 in the opposite direction. So just to bring a little bit of movement into that shoulder. Now the nice thing about this is that as you take the left arm up to the sky, once it ends back at the sky, you can extend your left leg out. So can you see I'm in kind of bar of the gate? So my right knee is in line with my right hip. I've extended my left leg, so my left toes are somewhere in line with my right knee. And then once again, I might be able to look inside of my left arm and take a full side extension on that left side. So full bar of the gate. Now from here, I'm going to get you to make sure you've zipped up, brought those drawstrings in, because then you're going to be using the core to bring you back into your regular bar of the gate. And then we'll take a counter pose, bringing the left hand to the left leg, turning the gaze to the right hand, and then bringing that right arm up alongside of the face. So you're sliding down that left leg. So lifting out of the side waist. Fantastic. Excellent. Okay, breathing in, ease yourself all the way back to that central point, and then from there, you're going to turn back, spin on the knee, bring yourself back onto all fours. So let's just do one in-between movement. So once again, inhaling, moving to upward facing cat. Exhaling into angry cat. And then sliding the bottom to the heels. Popping the forehead to the floor and then rolling the imaginary marble along the floor. Drawing the elbows in. Lifting you up to upward facing cat. And then just like we've been doing the last few weeks, lift or zip up zippers and drawstrings. So it takes you to a flat back without your tummy dropping out. Then from there, you're going to turn a half turn to the right. So you're going to turn your ribs around to the right, spin the bottom leg out. I'm going to turn back to face you again. So that this time, I want to make sure I am turning the right way, that you're doing. Sorry guys, I'll be with you in a second. So this time, you're on your left knee and your right foot is turned out. That's it. That's it. And then you're going to bring your left hand onto your brick. And from this position, you're going to take your right arm up to the sky, and then you're going to draw those circles. So 3 circles in one direction and 3 circles in the other direction. Nice. Okay, so I'm easing into that shoulder joint. I'm creating space in the left side of the body. That's it. And then eventually I'm going to take that right arm out to the side and I'm going to make that into bar of the gate. So I've still got my left fingertips on my brick. Lovely job. I'm going to turn that arm in the shoulder joint and I'm going to get a full side stretch through the whole of the right side. Excellent. Really nice. Okay, from there, I'm going to use my drawstrings and zippers to come into bar of the gate fully. And then I can take my side stretch. So I'm going to lift up from my left side hip and then side stretch over to the right. Good. Okay, as I ease back out of that position, I'm spinning around. And from here, I'm going to ease myself into the first down dog of the practice tonight. And just give myself a little walk through. Okay, now what I want to do is really lengthen the hip flexors to give us lovely movement in the quads. So from here, what I'm going to do is your choice. Actually, we'll bend the left knee down first because we actually want to put the right foot onto the brick. Now, it takes a little bit of getting around this because you don't want your knee too near. You don't want to be too square in this lunge. So your foot is on the brick, but you want a little bit of movement back with your back knee so that you've got a good old opening here at the front of the left hip flexor. I mean, you could lift the pubis and move the right knee forward a little bit, but not overdo it. So you're going to have a big old stretch here from about the bottom of the rib cage all the way down to the front of the hip. Nice. Now, as always, we create space and we want to try and move into that space. This is a good way to also, in this position, I can really work on or engage my right buttock. So it's another good thing you can do to feel the buttock kicking in. Then from there, what I'm going to get you to do is ease out from this position, and it takes again a bit of shuffling to bring your foot off the brick, and then move this into Ardha Hamanasana, so that half split position. So either you can have the hands either side of your right leg, or you can bring the hands on the brick if that gives you a little bit more lift up through the heart center. Now, normally I don't ask you to do this, but because of what we're doing tonight, if you find that it's possible for you to go all the way back towards your foot, please feel free to do that. If it's not possible, it doesn't matter. I'm just checking out how it feels with you. Okay, we're going to change sides. Do down dog first though. So walk back so that the right foot is on the floor and then step into downward dog. And just notice the difference. You might even find that the heel softens to the floor immediately on the right leg compared to the left. Might not. Okay, bend the knees to the floor again. This time, left foot onto the brick. So have a little wiggle around. You might have to take that right knee back a little bit, but try not to surrender to the point in the pelvis that you've got no core connectivity. So maybe have a little drawing in of the left buttock. Maybe you can power forward a little bit with that bit of the core. And take a few breaths, concentrating on what's happening to the right side of the hip flexor as it connects to the base of the ribs. And then after a couple more breaths, we'll slowly, carefully ease out. Bring the hands down so that you can take your foot safely off the brick, and then counterpose initially with what we would call half splits or Ardha Hamanasana. Remembering that this is absolutely fine to stay here, to put your hands on the brick, it's fine too. But if you have got the availability of movement, just because of the movement we're doing next, can you move, taking the bottom to the heels? And then from there, easing forward, bring the hands either side of that left foot and step back into dog. After a few seconds, just enjoying that connection through the feet, maybe taking a little whiz of the hips from side to side. Think about the connection of the hands. And then from here, we're going to breathe in, bend the knees, walk the feet forward towards the hands. Hip distance apart tonight, flatten the back. And as you exhale, lengthen forward. Breathing in, pop the arms up and out to the side. Gaze up to the thumbs. And as you exhale, slide the hands down in front of the heart. Okay, we've got a bit of dragon tonight, or Return of the Dragons. So, remember with the dragons, you're balancing on one leg, you want a bit of softness in that. Well, this is the left leg, it's going to be your first standing leg. So bring your weight over to that left foot, and as you inhale, extend the arms up and let the wrist drop as you also lift that right leg. Lovely. Then bring the hands to the heart. You're moving into a little bit of warrior three. As you stay lengthening through that left leg and see if you can extend that right leg out behind. Maybe for a couple of seconds, just holding that length. And then striding down with the right foot until you come into high standing lunge. So it's going to be a half turn to the right. You don't need to move the feet. You just pivot around on the feet and twist a half turn to the right, bringing your left arm forward and your right arm back. You're doing that another 3 times. So to the front of your mat, to the back of your mat, and to the front of your mat. Now, as you come back to the front of the mat, we're going to go into our second quad stretch, because you've slightly brought the feet together. This time it's a lower body masculine, so you're going to lift the front pubis. You're going to let that right knee slide directly underneath your hip. You're going to do that for 3 and lift. That's it. For 2, exhale, lift. Last one, exhale. On the last one, you're going to hold. For 6, for 5, 4, 3, think about drawstrings and zippers. 2, 1, and release. Well done. Excellent. Now, You're going to see my back, but you're going to turn a half turn to the right again. I'm just going to jump around so you can see me. And we're just going to add in, it's parallel feet, it's the footballer stretch. So if you can bend into your right knee, hands on the thigh, you know the score, you're going to reach into those inner thighs and groin areas. Try and lengthen through the crown of the head. Enjoy that wonderful stretch. Couple more breaths. And then release the hands. Maybe do a round the world and then bend into your left knee. And really enjoy. So one side may again feel, different to the other. Stay with it. Good, and then just lifting back to the center, turning back to the front of your mat, and just stepping the feet back into your standing position. Hands in prayer position at the heart, we're just changing directions, changing legs. So this time you're going to balance on your right leg, you're going to lift your flying dragon wings and your left knee exhale. Well done. Bring the hands to the heart. Take that left leg out behind you. Can you hold it? Can you pause there? Soften into the shoulders. And then eventually, big stride back, high standing lunge. So this time it's a half turn to the left, 4 times. Half turn to the left, right hand leads. Release back through the center, half turn, back to the front of your mat, left arm leads. That's it, you've got it. Okay, twice more. Now once you come back to face the front of your mat, release the arms. See if you can maybe shorten the stride a little bit so you've got that ability to tilt your pelvis, to take your masculine quadriceps for 1, and lift for 2, and lift, and the last one you're going to hold it. So you're going to take it for 3, and you're going to hold for 6. Now try and think about what you're doing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Lift back up. Okay, half turn again. If you have to jump around to see me, please do that. Wide leg standing position. This time we'll take skater girl, left leg first. So bend into the left knee, place the hands onto that left thigh. And then to take skater girl, slightly lift the sit bones, release with the crown of the head and take the arms wide. So really enjoy that little release at the back of the neck. And then breathing in, bring the arms up. And as you breathe out, change sides. So it's up to you whether you want to start with your hands on the thigh or whether you want to go straight into that lengthening. Almost that you could roll a ball from the back of one hand across the shoulders to the back of the other hand. You're that flat. Inhale, ease back to center, turn back to the front of your mat and into standing. Just have to pop that in there. Okay, we're going to take a dragon again. So we're going to go back to the right. So you're going to balance on your left, take your flying dragon. But this time, as you bring the hands to the heart, you're going to step that right leg into warrior 3. Pause for a second. And then stride the leg down. And then you're going to bring the hands either side of your left foot. Okay, so you're in a kind of runner's lunge, but you probably find you're quite high. And that's basically where I want you to be. So next move is a three-legged dog with the left leg. So pop the hands to the floor, take that left leg into three-legged dog, really reaching through the heel, and then I want you to bring your knee to the hands. So bend into your left knee, slide it to the chest, and then slide it through between the hands. Take your right leg and slide it as far back as you possibly can, maybe moving your left foot over to the right. So you're in that first variation of pigeon. Now, what's quite nice is just to bring your hands on your brick and just get that little bit of length in the back. So all I'm doing is, I'm just kind of lifting my pigeon chest, puffing out my pigeon chest. And then from there, I'm going to ease forward and bring my elbows either to the floor or onto the brick. So I've got this kind of first variation pigeon position going on. And I'm going to see in a minute why we're doing this. So have a few breaths. And then from here, bring the hands back either side of the knee. Hop yourself all the way back into down dog. Soften the knees. Walk the feet forward towards the hands. This time we'll do a little flat back, Ardha Uttanasana and a full Uttanasana. And then we'll breathe in, swoop the arms up, come back into standing, use those legs. Breathe out, bring the hands in front of the heart, and then we're going to change to the left. So you're balancing on your right, you're lifting your left, you're back into dragon. From dragon, you go into warrior three, hands at the heart. And then with care, you're going to step that left foot back, bring the hands either side of the right foot. So you're in this kind of almost a cross between down dog and lunge. Right leg this time, three-legged dog. Then right knee through between the hands. Slide the left foot back, move the right foot over to the left. Maybe, providing there's no twinging in the lower back, pop your hands onto your brick and fluff out your pigeon chest. And again, you feel that kind of lift up with the pelvic floor just to give you that extra sense of connection. Once you've done that, slide forward, perhaps prop onto the elbows. And stay with that. Lengthening out of the back leg. But also this kind of easing into stretching the front of the ankle. Okay, doing really well. So hands by the floating ribs, back into down dog. And then pop the knees back to the floor. So our next position is Virasana, and that's called the hero position. So some of you will already be able to do this, no problem. I'm just going to give you a few tips if you don't know what we're going to do. So if you're not sure what we're doing, you're going to take your brick, you're going to slide it between your legs, and I'm kind of going to end up with it sort of between my feet. So what I'm intending to do, and you could have your brick low or middle, you might need more than one brick, or you might need a brick and a block. But the idea is that you're going to end up sitting in a kind of kneeling position so that you're sitting on the brick, but you're really lengthening the fronts of the ankles and the fronts of the feet. Now, this is one of those things where if you've had like an injury, like a broken ankle, you might find it's really uncomfortable. Lots of people say to me, can I turn my feet out like this? The answer is not for this position. There is a position that you can do that, but on this position, it's very much about trying to stretch out the fronts of the shins. Now, if you're happy and you've got a good old lengthening there, you can stay with it, or you could attempt to move the brick away, roll the skin and the muscle of the calves out to the side and see if you can fit your bottom in between your feet. Something like that. But again, you know, if you've got knee issues, stay sitting on something. I've got a current record so far of 5 bricks. So please don't feel that you're inadequate if you're sitting on 1 brick. But this is a yoga posture, Virasana. So we've got that stretch, we've got that length at the front of the ankles, all is good. Okay, let's take out from that position, so back onto all fours, and then just slide your bottom around and just come into sitting. Just checking you've still got blood running through your toes. Now, I've always been led to believe that if you do one of the half poses, it's easier. But in this position, sometimes doing the half position is more difficult. So I don't know whether you can have an attempt. So you've got 2 options. First option, bend into the left knee and slide the left foot inside of the right inner thigh. Second option, slide the left heel towards the bottom, pick up the front of the left shin and slide the whole of the left foot, ankle and shin back. Sometimes you could pop a brick underneath your right buttock, especially if you feel that you're falling over. But again, it's that sense, that opening up through the ankle and the shin. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this because we're running out of time anyway, so just have a little play with the other side. So remember, it's either a right foot into a kind of Janusarasana shape, or moving it straight into your 1 knee bent, 1 leg extending. It's a bit like a dancer position, I guess, but in sitting. Okay, before we go to do the full position, which we'll do again, undo the legs and just swing yourself back onto all fours so that you can come onto your tummies. You'll need your brick. So as you come onto your tummies, crocodile position, rest the head on the hands and have a little rock from side to side. Now, the reason I like this one is it takes the pressure off the knee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to take your brick and slide it under your left thigh. And then you kind of have to shuffle around a little bit. So the left knee is off the floor. You can not put pressure into the right knee, so that could stay off the floor. And then what you're going to do, it's going to feel a little bit awkward, but you're just going to bend into that left knee and slide the left heel to the bottom. And then release it. So you're going to do that 2 or 3 times. The great thing about this is that for most people, there is an opportunity as you bring the heel to the buttock that you could maybe reach round with your left hand and take a hold of your trouser, or yoga trousers or whatever you've got, or maybe even the foot or the front of the ankle. So have a little go about that. If you can't, don't worry. I'm not going to faff with belts at this stage, but most people can seem to take a hold of the front of the trouser or the back of the trouser. But you've got a lovely long extension through the quad. Take a few breaths. And then gently release. Now, just like we did with the brick under the back, as you slide the brick away, please be careful lengthening down to release the left leg back to the earth. And again, just notice what's happened through your left hip. Okay, let's change sides. Exactly the same thing on the other side. Hopping the brick underneath the thigh, above the knee. Once you feel you've got a little bit of comfort there, or you're used to the discomfort, start to bend into the right leg. So I'd say about a minimum of 3 move-ins. And then perhaps on number 4, you can bring the heel to the bottom, take your right hand behind. Can you take a hold of your right foot or your trouser? That's it, lovely job. These are really nice. Got a full house. This is a bit like using the brick for the hamstring stretch. Using the brick for the quad stretch also gives you that accessibility. So it changes the position of the pelvis. And then from there, slowly ease out, extend the leg. And once again, slowly slide the brick away, lowering that right leg down. Have a little bit of a rock from side to side with the hips. And then from there, bring the hands to the rib cage, press yourself all the way back into some variation of child, because you're going to have a little bit of, you've shifted stuff in the sacrum. So maybe bring your head, forehead onto the brick, or to your fists, or forehead to the floor. Child's pose. Now, 2 things will have happened while you've been doing that. First one is that you'll feel this lengthening in the back. Second one, if I pop you back onto all 4s and get you just to have a little look over your left shoulder, I'm just about guaranteeing you'll be able to see both feet. And then back to the centre and do the same over your right shoulder. Yeah, it's easy, isn't it? Why could you not never see 2 feet before? Back to the centre. The next movement you may or may not wish to do, we're going to do the Virasana again as our final movement. So either pop the brick back between your feet so you can sit on it, or roll the calves out and see if you can sit between the feet. And only if your bottom is on the floor could you take this to the next level, which would be releasing your elbows down. And then maybe you could just pop the brick under your spine a little bit so that you could release all the way down. But again, only do that if your bottom is on the floor. If you're sitting on the brick It's absolutely fine. You are still lengthening into your quads. So please don't worry that you have to take it any further than that. I'm just showing you, the next progressions. So well done to whatever you got to. Hopefully it feels a little bit softer in these legs. Okay, from this position, we are going to be moving into relaxation. So when you're ready, please feel free to stay there if you're enjoying it. But otherwise, ease into your warm clothes. And what I'd suggest that you did is a little bit of a counter pose with something you'll know really well. So once you've got your warm stuff on, pop the feet into 10 to 2, roll the arms out into T position, and then working from the feet, roll into big toe side of right, little toe side of left, send the legs to the left and the head to the right, and then just roll to center. And then big toe left, little toe right, legs to the right. So do at least a couple to each side. Once you're feeling that your back is nice and free, got lots of variations we can do for the finishing posture. You could do Shavasana if that's comfortable for you. You could do semi-supine. Now, if you wanted to, there is another option for semi-supine where you actually pop your feet on the brick. And again, it's one of those things that some people love it. Some people find it doesn't make any difference at all, that they'd prefer just to be feet to the floor. Or of course, you could bring the brick between your knees, take your feet slightly wider, toes turning in, heels turning out, and take that lovely internal hip rotation. So lots of variations that you could move into for the end of the practice. And for tonight, I want you to acknowledge the two sides of your body. The right side of your body and the left side of your body. So your head is kind of the central pivot from this left and right side. And what I'd like you to do initially is just feel that you can transfer your weight into the right side of your body. So you're feeling a little bit of weight coming down through your right leg, right buttock, hip, back ribs, right side, right shoulder and shoulder blade, right arm, hand, fingers maybe. Staying with it for a couple of breaths. Then I want you to release from that and transfer the weight now into your left side. So whatever position you're in, it doesn't matter. Imagine that your head is the central pivotal point at the center of your body. You're thinking about left leg, heel, buttock, left side ribs, shoulder blade, shoulder, chest, arm, hand. Stay with it. And then release that weight from the left. And see if you can sense a balancing out of weights between the left and the right side. Feel free to make any adjustments to your position to enable you to feel evenly balanced between the right side and the left side, if it's possible. And then I want you to take your attention to your face. So imagine that you've got the right side of your face and the left side of your face. And that would go to the back of the head and the ear as well. So can you visualize the right side of your face being more energized than the left? So it might not be necessarily about weight, it might be a little bit of weight at the back of the head, right side of the head. Can you feel, it's almost like a warmth moving into the right side of your face. Right side of the forehead. Right eye in an eye socket. Right ear. Cheek. Right side of the lips. Right side of the chin. Right side of the neck. And the whole of the right side of the face. Notice if that moves into the body at any point. Okay, take the weight or the energy out of the right side of the face, come back to the center, and then change to the left. Feel that warmth, that energy move to the left side of the face. Left side of the forehead. Left eye, eye socket. Left cheek. Left nostril. Left side of the lips. chin, neck, all of the left side. Maybe feeling that transfer into the body. Eventually bring the weights, all the energy out of the left side of the face, back to the center. From there, as this practice begins to draw to a close, perhaps feeling that you can begin to bring some movement through the body. Maybe easing yourself into a full body stretch if that feels like where you're at. And then eventually sliding your feet back into semi-supine and easing the knees to the chest. Again, it might be a rock from side to side, or it might be keeping the legs together and drawing circles in the air with the knees. And then eventually easing over onto your side, maybe the left side, the evening side of the body. And just gently easing yourself into sitting. I always find when I've done a quad movement that I always feel more lengthened in the spine. So I don't know whether you feel that there's been a kind of upward energetic shift of the pelvis. So when you're ready, you're going to breathe in, you're going to gather that energy around you, gaze up to the thumbs, and as you exhale, seal the practice down through the third eye, to the lips and the throat, and to the heart. The spirit in me bows and commends the spirit within you. Namaste.